Well, if you give an example, if a white person says to me, or anybody says to me, that white supremacy doesn't exist, this conversation is over.
Period.
Period. Because the premise is that it does exist. So there's nothing else to discuss. I'm going to act on the premise that it does exist. Now that white person or whomever it is can act on whatever they think the premise is. Because I am duty bound to be against racism and for justice. And if you say non-justice doesn't exist, that everything is just, that nobody's being mistreated, if you take that position, that's not a debate, not with me, as a victim of non-justice, as a victim of racism. There's nothing else for me to say. What else is it to say if that person has come to that conclusion? Now, if the person wants to discuss it and go into detail, I'm willing to do that at any time, and all the times, which is what I do. If a person says, well, I could be incorrect, so let's talk about it.
Okay.
So we can talk, all right? But if the person says, now, I'm going into this discussion on the basis of I'm not going to budge an inch. Racism doesn't exist. And what you're talking about, buddy, doesn't make sense. And I'm not accepting it. There's no such thing as any white supremacy. So I'm not changing from that. Okay, well, I will talk to you, sir, when you change from that, because there's nothing else to discuss. Always courteous, you tell the person, well, there's nothing else for me to say.
Right.
I've already taken a position. This is a position. I'm not budging from that position. And apparently you're not budging from yours. So what you're telling me is basically that it quite possibly, I'm duty bound to suspect this, that you are racist, sir. Of course, I would suspect that anyway.
Okay.
So that means, you're taking a position of an enemy, my enemy, based on my color. You think that you have a blank check to mistreat me on the basis of my skin color. That's your criteria, and I'm taking a position that you don't.
Okay.
And so therefore I'm supposed to be codifying myself as best I can to eliminate your position. Period. No victim of racism ever accuses anybody of being racist. You only say, according to the code, I suspect you could be one. Why? Because I have no reason to suspect otherwise. In a system of white supremacy, if you're classified as white, you could be a white supremacist, since there is, as far as I know. Now, I don't know everything, but somebody might have a master list of every white person on the planet who is indeed a verified racist. There might be a list. I haven't heard of any such list. If I heard of that list, I would like to gain access to it.
Yes.
So anytime I'm talking to a white person, I would just go down the list. I would just hit the buttons on the computer, go down the list. Their name is not on the racist list.